It's 2 p.m. Hello, good afternoon. It's time for news. You're live on GBC News and GTV. I'm Siyokwo Kakucha. Welcome to the news. The cantonment police has intercepted a weapon which was hidden in a fast food pack meant for an inmate, but for the vigilance of the police officer on duty, the firearm and ammunition would have been smuggled into the cells by a lady believed to be in her 20s and with a Nigerian accent. Charge office with 2 packs of papaya labeled fast food to be served on a robbery remand prisoner in the cell. When the food was carefully inspected by the officer on duty, a locally manufactured pistol with 1 AA cartridge was found concealed in one of the packs with the food covering it. The lady, however, managed to flee the scene. The Accra Police Command is making strenuous efforts to trace and arrest the lady. We have on the line the Greater Accra Regional Police Commander PRO ASP Efiatinge to give us details. Hello, good afternoon, ASP Efiatinge.
Hello, good afternoon.
Well, DSP, please, what is the latest information gathered on this incident?
All right, thank you very much. First of all, the rank is DSP, so if you can have that corrected on record.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, secondly, as we have earlier narrated, the police is still on a manhunt for this lady. She came to the charge office of the cantonment police to deliver food to one of the inmates. And so, as usual, she came with a pack of rice that presumably has been bought. But within or inside the rice, she had hidden a locally manufactured pistol inside together with 1 cartridge. For what reason, the police is yet to establish. And again, once the lady came, she was carrying a baby, a little child. So in the process of inspecting the food, after the duty officer had earlier inspected the first one, she managed to pretend as if she was giving help or care to the baby, only for her to flee or escape from the charge office. And so we are still looking out for that. Luckily, we've been able to retrieve CCTV footages of the lady. That's a picture of the lady who was at the charge office. And so this is also helping us. So we are activating all other measures to see if we can arrest this lady. So I think that is what is being done so far.
Okay, so this particular or this said lady is at large now. So when she is arrested, what will be the charges leveled against her?
Yes, possessing a weapon, first of all, is a strict liability offense. It means that once you are caught with a firearm without any lawful authority, a firearm in your possession amounts to a crime, a criminal offense in the first instance. So that is one that the police will be looking at. Secondly, we want to know the intention behind the action. Why was she sending a firearm into the police cell? For what reason? I believe that if we also arrest her together with a third inmate whom we are already interrogating on his knowledge of what was concealed in the rice, I think it will also give us some ideas or way forward. So it is all about doing further investigation together with the possession of the firearm. Then police will now prepare some charges for this lady to be put before the law court. So after we get her arrested, together with the investigations that will be conducted into this act, I think that the public would continue to give us their support. It was very to post her pictures all over for people to see if they can also make it out and also support the police. But we want to really commend the high vigilance of police officers on duty, for which reason this lady, for which reason the weapon was found in that concealed right.
Thank you very much, Madam, for that update. And that was a Greater Accra Regional Police Command PRO DSP Ifya Tinge. 4 victims from the Tema Motorway accident who were admitted at the accident ward of the Tema General Hospital have been treated and this morning discharged. The 4 were injured on Monday, 12th July in an accident at the Tema toll booth where a tipper truck crashed and damaged one of the booths, leading to the death of one person. The medical director of the Tema General Hospital, Dr. Richard Anthony, revealed that the 4 who were on admission at the facility have been discharged this morning. He gave the assurance that the hospital will be monitoring them during their checkups to make sure they are well enough to go back to their businesses. Meanwhile, the Minister for Roads and Highways, Mr. Kwesi Amoakwata, the MCE of Tema, Mr. Felix Ananla Mensah, and other dignitaries visited the victims at the hospital this morning before they were discharged. The past few days have been rife with concerns by the general public over the implementation of recommendations of the Professor Yan Tiamwa Bedu Committee, which among other things seeks to regulate, with many questioning the capacity in which such an allocation will be made to the said spouses, inasmuch as all surviving spouses of heads of state, current and former, have all been receiving allowances since the tenure of President Kufuor. The nagging debate is whether they continue to receive their allowances, though increased, or now draw salaries as Article 71 holders. The Dean, School of Graduate Studies, UPSA, Dr. John Malto, joins us on the line to help us understand the issues. Hello, good afternoon, Doc.
Good afternoon.
Doc, what is really wrong in formalizing a practice that has existed over the years?
All right, good afternoon to your viewers and listeners. I think for some time now we've been going through this issue after the committee's report was released. In fact, listening to the legal connoisseurs, I think it's evidence that when it comes to the provisions of Article 71 of its holders, it's been established that there are defined officers as well as officers who are supposed to enjoy from this provision. Mm-hmm. And the main argument here is whether it is legal. That is what I'm coming at. Whether it is legal to include the first lady and the second lady as part of this provision, because the committee was formed purposely for this. Okay. And for that matter, when you want to include their entitlement as part of the provisions in Article 71, then you are probably violating the provisions of the Constitution, because here we are, we know the people who are entitled to this benefit. Now, notwithstanding all this, I think there are a lot of documents that has emerged from, sometimes I'm very circumspect when it comes to social media, and sometimes what you even read from some of your media, platforms. Yeah. I think since yesterday we've received some battles from the office of the First Lady as well as the Second Lady. I don't know whether you have seen that. You have seen that.
Yeah, the wife of the Vice President, yeah.
That is it. So it tells you that not knowing they were already on salaries. And in the committee's quest to formalize the salary, that is what has brought all this things out here. We didn't know. I didn't even know that they were on salary because we know their offices. In fact, once we recognize the First Lady's office as an official office and it's working in the interest of the country, I think it's incumbent on the government to compensate them. But the problem is whether we should use the provisions in the office. The articles, Article 71 prescribes the emolument of some specific office holders, which the legal commissioners have come out to say that yes, indeed, it violates the provision of the Constitution and therefore it is null and void. We shouldn't go there. But if yes, indeed, there were some other provisions which has probably been formalized to ensure that these officials who have been described as the office of the First Lady, you have created this office, and we think as a country we should remunerate them. Why not? But until yesterday, some of us didn't know they were on monthly salary. If some of the things that you are reading is to go by that, it means that for all these years, because some of us have even seen some documents which have been written by the former First Lady, the immediate outgone, First Lady, and then that of but as to the authenticity of those documents, we cannot speak with. So I normally don't comment on them. But yes, indeed, if what we are hearing from the office of the First Lady to go by, then it means there was already an existing arrangement. That they were remunerating these officers, but the issue of Article 71, no. Given the explanations and the provisions of the Constitution, I think that is null and void.
Okay, so Doc, there are two things here. What they were receiving, were they allowances or salaries? Were they drawing salaries or they were just being given allowances? From what you are saying, can we be clear on that?
Yeah, if indeed they were receiving allowances, then it means that some formality has gone on. It means maybe their names have been presented and gone through the procedure, because we've been told that the former First Lady have been receiving such allowances. So, and then Parliament, it has gone through Parliament for approval and all those things. I don't see anything wrong with it. If in the eyes of our legislators, they are of the view that these are recognized offices, especially the office of the First Lady. It is an office we have established in Ghana to work for the country. I don't think there's anything wrong with that if they are there to receive salaries.
Okay, Doc,
some of us didn't even know that they do receive salaries.
Yeah, Doc, let's look at this scenario. Parliament approved the recommendations of the Emoluments Committee. So would you say that the people's representation have failed us, or the people?
You see, whenever you mention Parliament, often than not, some of us have questions with respect to some of the bills that are passed into act and some loan agreement that they will pass and later on come out to say that and they start apportioning blames. That is what happened. If really indeed parliamentarians, MPs are supposed to just oppose the law, the provisions of a particular constitution, an enshrined provision in the constitution, and the processes have not gone through for us to pass this, aren't we saying they are violating, whatever provisions we have in the constitution? Because in the first place, the First Lady and the Second Lady are not the officers that have been provided for in Article 70. It is clear. The office holder, it is clear. So I don't know when those people became office holders as prescribed in Article 71.
Okay.
What were their job descriptions for which they approved this? It's unfortunate we are hearing some of these things, but often than not, we are not, I am not a legal person, but we are listening to most of the legal persons and the legal argument and the fact that if we have enshrined provisions of the Constitution, the procedure we have to follow in changing it or even making amendments. We don't know when all these things happen, but it's unfortunate we are hearing this now, that Parliament has passed something that we know has been defined by the Constitution.
Well, that will be all for that time. Will allow us, Doc. Thank you so much for your time. And Dr. John Malto in the Dean School of Graduate Studies, UPSA. Now, moving on, in the wake of the proposal for the controversy surrounding payments of allowances to spouses of presidents and vice presidents, the Convention People's Party, CPP, has called for a national debate on the consolidation of salaries for both former and present spouses of presidents and vice presidents of the country. This, according to the party, will bring finality to the issue. The comment was made by the Bono Regional Chairperson of the party, Ali Dayende, on the sidelines of the party's press briefing in Accra on Monday.
Somebody will pay you an allowance of billion cedis without using the name allowance and without using the name salary. And let me tell you, my regret and sadness as a member of the party or as a Ghanaian is that no day did we get Auditor General report citing amount of money given to the First Lady. So it means that we've been hiding certain documents from Ghanaians. So CPP is saying that it shouldn't be MPP thing, NDC thing or CPP thing. It's about Ghanaian. So let's sit down and debate it. If we think once upon a time we were paying it without regularizing it, this time we want to organize it well, we should debate it. What are the merits and the demerits? Is there even a need? The problem of this country, they're pushing laws without telling us the essence of it. And that is where we have problems with. If one day she becomes our flag bearer and she wins as a president of this country, a husband demanding something like this, but the constitutional provision is better we organize it well, so that it will not be like, I don't like this former first lady, I don't like her husband, and therefore she's sitting on the fence. I won't give her anything. Today, only God knows how much goes to Konodu, Nadu, Fulera, Teresa, how much goes to, we don't know. We need to organize it so that Auditor General reports can cite it. And we know that from the consolidated fund, this is the amount that has been used to pay First Lady.
A section of the public have applauded decisions by the First Lady and the wife of the Vice President to return all allowances paid to them since 2017 back to the government. The First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Ekufuado, and the wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Amira Baumia, have offered to refund all the allowances they had received since the President assumed office in 2017 following a public outcry over salaries of the First and the wife of the Vice President.
It was a good motive to pay the First Ladies because at least we've seen them doing some ups and downs, moving around the country, doing some jobs and all that. So paying them was a good motive by, I don't know, whoever brought it up, government or I don't know. But for them to return the payment or for them to return everything, I can say it was out of anger.
It looks like they are angry and Ghanaians too were too much on them. Their criticism was too much, and because they are not mainstream politicians, they couldn't take that wrath from Ghana, so they decided to pay the money to Ghanaians.
She thinks that it's not good, so he refund the money to the Ghanaians. It's good. Muhammad's wife, she too supposed to, Ladina Muhammad, she too supposed to refund the money because he received what do you call it, allowance.
Anybody who works and takes salary should be paid, either his wife or his children, because we are all working for the nation. So I think it is good that they are rejecting it.
Ghanaians need the money, especially now the economy that is very, very bad. Nothing is going on, nothing.
The national chairperson of the CPP says the party will not be swayed simply by any call to form a coalition with a political party until the proposing party places high premium on the CPP's vision and values.
It is not just about power for us. We will not do any coalition if it's not going to put the policies that will bring the country back onto making the youth get employment, accommodation, and GMF, that things that will not bring, will not lift the party up. We will not do that. So we would get into any alliance as long as it's going to help the youth of this country and bring back the factories and bring back the employment and bring back the housing policies that will give youth affordable, decent accommodation and give them money and to work. It is not magic. It is about the welfare of the people. So any policy, if we will not go into coalition just to get power, we will get power. Because the youth of this country are tired and they want a change and they are asking for a change, and we will give them the alternative. We will let them know that CPP is the alternative. We started every good thing you see in this country, whether it's the Kosovo Dam, whether it's the factory, Legon, everything you see that is of any meaning in this country was done by CPP.
The Social Security and National Insurance Trust SSNIT will from 1st September 2021 delete the names of pensioners aged 72 and above who failed to complete or renew their pensioner certificate. The trust is entreating pensioners who are yet to complete their pensioner certificates to do so by 30th August 2021. Presently, there are some 13,451 pensioners who receive monthly pension but are yet to complete or renew their pensioner certificates. In a statement, SSNIT said such pensioners should visit the nearest SSNIT office to renew or complete their pensioner certificates. Those with mobility challenges are to contact SSNIT to schedule a home visit for the completion or renewal of their pensioner certificate. This exercise will ensure that pensions are paid to the right persons. Pensioners visiting the SSNIT office for the pensioner certificate renewal are strongly encouraged to carry along their Ghana cards to have their SSNIT and NIA numbers merged if they have not done so already. You're watching News Hour live on GBC News and GTV. We're taking a short break. We'll be back with
Wow. Could you?
testified before the Justice Kingsley Clemson committee in Kumasi. She said her son's leg has been amputated and is recovering at the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. From the Prempe Assembly Hall, we have our Ashanti Regional Correspondent Thomas Nsoeje on the phone with details. Good afternoon, Thomas.
Good afternoon.
Thomas, what more can you tell us about today's hearing?
Yes, today we had 4 witnesses and they sat for 1.5 hours, but the meeting started at 10 o'clock and then by 11:30 this ended. Salamatu Mohammed was the first person to appear today. But he appeared because his son has had his leg amputated as a result of the round. So he told the committee that he was returning from the burial ground of the 2 who had been buried that particular day. So when he came to the house, he met his son, Awal Mushiru, who he said was demanding some money to go and buy some food in the market. So he gave the money out. All that he heard was that his son had been shot in the leg and that the boy had been sent to Bianquanta Governor, Bianquanta Catholic Hospital. He followed up. When he got there, the doctor demanded 1,500 for initial surgery. Unfortunately, when they raised the fund, the doctor told them that they have to send him to Komfanochi for further attention. So when they brought Awal to Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, unfortunately, the guy had his leg amputated. So he was appealing to the committee to ensure that the son, who is everlasting deformed, could be well taken care of. Then came 3 other witnesses, one Hussein Ibrahim and his 2 wives, who appeared before the committee. What Ibrahim told the committee was that they are co-tenants to the house where Kaka was also staying. So he was informed by the wife that in that where the incident happened, he was there when the wife said he saw Kaka returning to the house in the night and that somebody met him just close to the house and he suspected it was Baba Idi who might have met him just in front of the house and attacked him. So this is what he was told by the wife. So the 2 wives also came to testify before the committee, but they were all saying the same story, that because they are all staying in the same house, they saw Baba Idi who attacked the brother Kaka, and in the course of the attack, he butchered the brother. So when they came out, because it was the night around 1 a.m., so when they came out, they saw that the brother had escaped. So we managed to send Kaka to hospital at Igra, where he was later transferred to Komfanochi and died later. So they said after the incident was reported, and then they bear witnesses, there have been number 1 enemy in the Kaka's family because they thought the 3 had given the exact information that could lead to the prosecution of Baba Idi, who they claimed had a very serious hand in the murder of Kaka. So today, after the 4 have given witnesses, they have to close for tomorrow, which the committee chairman said it's likely tomorrow they'll end the sitting when they call the Ibrahim and some of the elders to come and testify as a large group of people who will come and give evidence.
Okay, thank you very much, Thomas, for that detailed report. You're still watching News Hour live on GBC News. We're taking a short break. Business is next.